My battery went bye-bye. And then my YouTube app is always like crashing and freezing up. And when I got it back on, I was like, go live. It said, you want to resume? And I kept saying, resume, resume. But it just turned to like a gray screen and nothing would happen. And I did that 2 times. And then I pressed end. I'll just start over again. Because I'm finishing this chapter. It's almost finished. There's 1 page left, you guys. I have to keep a very strict watch on my cord that it doesn't get moved at all. I'm back. With 1 page left, my battery said empty. It's at 65 right now. I'm sure we can finish 1 page. When she reached the motel, the 3 girls dashed inside, all hoping for letters. There were none, and no message from Mr. Drew, but Mrs. Thompson, who was behind the desk, said, Nancy, I found an envelope here this morning. The address looked so strange, I thought I'd better keep the letter and hand it to you myself. She gave it to Nancy, then went off. Nancy's name was spelled out in letters cut from newspaper words. That's never a good sign. Tied to the envelope was a small, dark green box. Remembering the package which contained the moonstone, Nancy quickly tore open the envelope and pulled out a note. It also was made from newspaper words. The message read, Please return Moonstone. Now I am in danger as well as you. Leave it in this box tonight under the rhododendron bush at the foot of the motel driveway. Hello, Julie. Thank you. I'm feeling better today than I did yesterday. Thank you. It was signed, The Well-Wisher. Nancy showed the note to her friends, who gasped in astonishment. Does anyone ever just gasp regularly? Or is it always astonishment? As the 3 girls walked away, Nancy said, We'll leave the box tonight, but not the moonstone, and we'll be on watch to see who comes. End of chapter 18. I had trouble with that chapter. Right? We started it this morning, and then my battery died. Then we got to 1 page left, and my battery died. I had trouble with the villains, their names, and just, I wasn't feeling very villainous, I guess. I am feeling better. I went to the cafe before it got all busy and stuff. The cafe I go to, they always have music really, really, really loud, and I'm very sensitive to noises and stuff. But I actually sat there for most of the time I was there without my earbuds in. Probably because there wasn't like a million people having conversations. And then it started getting bright outside, and I was like, okay. I drank my smoothie. I take my banana with me. More people are coming in, so I'm like, I want to get some stuff at the grocery store. So I got some stuff at the grocery store. The lifesavers just aren't doing what the peppermints do. I still have like 3 peppermints. I'm going to see if I can just keep them and not eat them. It's like cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes. I quit in 2008. You know who helped me? Ray Liotta. Personally. No, but he was in those ads for that drug. I took a drug. Stop. Right? Because calendar check. It's the 22nd. I don't have to do anything on the weekend. Monday, I just have to go to the clinic. Tuesday, I go to plastic surgeon. I love my plastic surgeon. I mean, I don't want any more plastic surgery. I didn't want that plastic surgery, but he's really nice. You're welcome. Thank you for listening. And now we only have 2 more chapters. Oh, what's going to happen? Well, obviously, it's all coming to a head, right? We know who the villains are. Chapter 19 is pretty short. Dare I? I'm going to have to keep checking my battery. Okay, see, it says charging, but I'm losing percentage. We can keep going. Now I'm listening to The Secret of Redgate Farm. Oh, I love that one. Really want to read the original. Now that I'm well into the original Hidden Staircase, and it's the first, like, it's the oldest one I've read. I really want to read the first 5 or 7, 5, 7, 10. Well, they put them out pretty frequently, didn't they? But that's the style I like the most, is the oldest one. So I really am excited to read the originals of ones that I've read or listened to a million times, like Secret of Redgate Farm. That was one of the ones that Laura Linney did, and she recorded, and I listened to it a lot to fall asleep. Should I? They're trapped in the cave. No spoilers. So that's near the end. Yeah. Should I keep going? I have the original Redgate Farm and it's good. Oh, I'm sure it is. I can't wait to read some more originals. Please tell me if I should keep reading. I know I got to get more water. Please, Carino is begging you. It doesn't work on his phone. Hey guys, should Nancy keep reading? Because her phone might shut off like right in the middle of a sentence. Oh, okay, I will. I mean, she will. All right, okay. I'll read a few paragraphs, go get my water, and then keep reading, if the phone allows me. Chapter 19, A Cry for Help. As Bess peered at the strange note which Nancy had received, she said, "More than one person may come to get the Moonstone back, and if they're husky men, we wouldn't stand a chance." George looked at her cousin disdainfully. "Why not? We're not weaklings." "They might be armed," Bess cautioned. "I'm telling you, she's the brains of the group. She's the brains of the outfit. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to get water." Ugh, what does that smell? Dish soap. I thought my dish soap would smell good. I specifically chose a dish soap that I would enjoy the scent of. I'm not enjoying it. But maybe the chemotherapy, like, buds smell something in your nose. Olfactory? Is that nose stuff? But I'm very smell things all the time. I'm a complainer. It's not really true. I don't complain a lot. Just my fair share. 63%. It says it's charging. Let's see. They might be armed, Bess cautioned. Nancy thought only one person would appear. I have an idea someone in the gang took the Moonstone and sent it to me. We know now it actually belongs to Raspin, and I think he has ordered the person who sent the stone to get it back quickly. In any case, Nancy, you have stolen property, Bess said. The quicker you get rid of it, the better. Nancy agreed that the rightful owner should have the Moonstone back, but thought Raspin should put in a claim for it himself. Oh no, your country is a condition of crisis. That's awful. Please stay safe, whichever country it is. And now I'm thanking myself that I live in a country that is not in crisis. I mean, we have dumb problems and stuff, but we're not in crisis as far as I'm concerned. Take care of yourself and your family. And I'm glad that I can read to you and maybe help you to distract you from your problems. Bye. Nancy agreed that the rightful owner should have the Moonstone back, but thought Raspin should put in a claim for it himself. He wouldn't dare do that, said Bess. Exactly, Nancy replied. Therefore, we'll know that whoever comes tonight is in some way connected with Raspin. George remarked that there was one fact still unexplained. Why did this mysterious person call himself the Well-Wisher? That doesn't sound like one of the gang. Rather, a person who is on your side. I admit it's all very contradictory, said Nancy. Let's hope we get the answers tonight. The girls climbed into the convertible and went to police headquarters. Fortunately, Chief Burke was there and they were ushered into his office at once. As Nancy completed her story, the officer's eyebrows lifted in amazement. Certainly sounds as if you stumbled onto a big fraud, he said. It may be bigger than we think, Nancy went on. There are similarities to the way poor Mrs. Wilson is treated and the way Mrs. Horton was some 15 years ago. That's right. I think these are up the rack that they've been pulling for some time. It looks that way, Nancy replied. On purpose, Nancy refrained from saying anything about Joni Horton. That was still her father's case. The officer said he would send 2 squad cars out to Mrs. Wilson's home at once. I'll include a doctor because she may need medical attention. Nancy asked, May we go along? Chief Burke smiled. I can't blame you for wanting to see this case through, but I don't want you to get hurt. Suppose you trail the police cars, but stay in the background. He went on to say that his men would confront the Omans with what Nancy had told him, and he hoped for a confession from the couple. Actually, we have no conclusive evidence on the arrest, but maybe we can get some. Nancy was glad that the 2 squad cars drove to Mrs. Wilson's without using sirens or giving any other warning of their approach. She followed in her convertible. When the 2 dark sedans parked in the driveway, out of sight of the house, she stopped behind them. In a short time, the police had surrounded the old house. Tensely, the 3 girls watched from behind the big trees along the driveway. A plainclothesman went to the front door and lifted the knocker. There was no answer, but suddenly the anxious group heard a faint cry for help. That must have been from Mrs. Wilson, said Bess, clutching Nancy's arm. A few seconds later, a loud order came from an upstairs room. Be quiet! Sign this! A woman's scream followed, and another cry for help. I hear a baby. Again, the plainclothesman pounded loudly on the door, demanding, "Open up! Police!" I can't shout too much. Sorry. I would love to be able to actually shout, like to be in a soundproof room and be able to like really go hog wild with the shouting and screaming, but I can't. When the shut up, kid. Stick a sock in it. When there was no response to further commands, 2 other policemen and the doctor joined the plainclothesman. Together, they broke down the door with their shoulders. The men swarmed into the house. The girls waited anxiously. "What do you suppose is happening in there?" Bess asked. Nancy and George did not answer her. They were listening for further sounds from the house. Fully 5 minutes went by, and still they heard nothing. Then the plainclothesman reappeared. "You can come in now," he called to the girls. He led the way into the hall and up the front stairway. The detective indicated an open bedroom. Nancy and her friends entered. "You!" a handcuffed man cried out. He was the person who had posed as Mr. Seaman. He glared malevolently at Nancy. The young sleuth ignored him and gazed at the 2 women in the room. One, evidently Mrs. Oman, was also handcuffed. On a large, old-fashioned bed lay I can't say this word. I can spell it, but I don't know how to pronounce it. You know when you're like really thin, emaciated? Is that how you say that? Emaciated? I rarely say that word. I'm going to go with emaciated. On a large, old-fashioned bed, lay an emaciated-looking elderly woman. The doctor sat beside her. "This is Mrs. Wilson," he said, and told her, "These are the girls who saved your life." The woman smiled wanly and said in a weak voice, "I thank you, and I am glad these wicked servants have been caught." I didn't cut out right. "And I am glad these wicked servants have been caught." The doctor said Mrs. Wilson would be removed to a hospital and with proper food and good care would be all right. The police, meanwhile, had been examining things in the room. They had found an open checkbook on a New York City bank. "6 of these checks have been filled in, all for large amounts," said the officer in charge. "They are made out to various people with notations on the stubs to indicate purchases like antiques and a garden tractor, which Mrs. Wilson says she has not purchased." I don't know why that's funny. Antiques and a garden tractor. It sounds like a murder she wrote. Which I trying to get me sign these checks, the patient spoke up, almost in a whisper. "They plan to forge endorsement signatures and steal the money." The detective asked Mrs. Wilson how she happened to have such a sizable account by mail in one bank. "The Omans forced me to move my accounts from various savings banks," she answered. "They deposited them in one checking account, and all checks were drawn from that." The doctor gently patted the woman's hands. "Don't try to tell any more now," he said. "The police have enough evidence to take Mr. and Mrs. Oman to jail. When you feel better, you can testify against them." Whew. 2 more pages, you guys. I can do it. My hair is getting hot. Wait, what can I... Please don't look under my arms. Oh, you know what I don't have? Since I cut my hair really short, I threw out any big banana clips that I had, so I can't stick this like this. That was smart. It was like I thought I was going to have short hair forever. Heaven forbid. Battery's holding up. It only lasts 1%. Nancy and her friends said goodbye to Mrs. Wilson, expressing the wish that soon she would recover from her ordeal. She smiled at them gratefully. When I am feeling better, please come to see me. I want to thank you properly for all you have done. The girls promised to do this, then left the room. They learned from the plainclothesman that the police would occupy the house and patrol the grounds to catch Rudy Raspin if he should return. He's supposed to arrive tomorrow, Nancy told the detective, but I hope you won't have to wait that long. She knows more than the police, always. The officers congratulated Nancy, Bess, and George for their work. The girls smiled in embarrassment, then went to the convertible. I wish we could find that awful Rudy Raspin, said Bess. So do I, Nancy agreed. But right now, our job is to find out who sent me Moonstone. That evening, the three girls left the little green box under the rhododendron bush at the foot of the motel driveway. Then they hid at various nearby points, with Nancy closest to the bush. We'd better keep still. No talking, she called to the others. There was silence, except for the passing traffic. It grew darker and darker. No one came to the rhododendron bush. An hour went by, and the girls began to fidget. And someone got hungry. I'm getting hungry for cottage cheese. After I finish this, I finished 2 chapters, I'm going to have some cottage cheese. I don't understand how people can hate cottage cheese. It just doesn't. It blows my mind. Cars sped by in both directions and occasionally entered the motel driveway. But no one stopped near the rhododendron bush. Maybe the whole thing was a hoax, George thought. He had just begun to wonder whether the person who had written the note had changed his mind about coming. The car, speeding toward her, pulled way over to the side of the road and slowed down. It stopped a short distance from the rhododendron bush. The 3 girls tensed. I hope they say the word rhododendron again. I enjoy saying that word. The 3 girls tensed. They watched excitedly as the woman driver alighted. She walked forward quickly. No one else was in the car. I have to put my hand down here so I don't look ahead. But I want to know who it is. As she reached the rhododendron bush, the stranger dropped to her knees and started feeling around underneath it. Nancy got ready to spring forward. The moment the woman picked up the box and rose to a standing position, Nancy jumped forward and beamed her flashlight straight into her face. The next instant, the young sleuth stepped back in amazement and cried out, "Celia Smith!" At once, the woman knocked the flashlight from Nancy's hand, gave the girl a shove that pushed her to the ground, then ran toward her car. End of chapter 19. Who's Celia Smith? Was that the lady when they had the little shipwreck? There was 2 people who helped them. Was that one of those people? Is that who Celia Smith is? I have forgotten. I can't remember, but we have 1 chapter left, so. And I must take my hair off. Thank you. Becker, or just Barbara. Hi, Barbara. You're welcome. It's funny when people call me Penelope, but I like it because it's like my channel name, right? My name's Nancy, but I love the name Penelope. I don't like Penny, though. Penny's a nickname for Penelope, but I don't like the name Penny. Don't call me Penny. Okay? So how was that? That was pretty good, right? Did you enjoy it? Did you solve the mystery before Nancy did? Did Nancy really solve a mystery at all? She didn't really solve anything. Okay, I'm gone. I'm gonna go. Thank you for joining me. We have one more chapter and then, well, I really enjoy doing the lives, so we can do another one, I guess. We can do another book. Bye, Julie. Julia. Bye, Julie. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Well, this one was suggested by Big BC Caesar. He was like, well, that's one of my favorites. So I thought, why did you read it? Right. We read Strange Message in the Parchment only because I had a stack of books and it was one of them and I felt like reading. And then we read this. Does anyone want to read a certain book that I may have? Speak now or forever hold your pleats. I'm looking at books. Well, I wanted to read the Crocodile Island one. I kind of started it. But I don't know. Maybe one where it's like winter or something. Something where it's cold. They're in a cold climate. What are all the books where there's someplace cold? If anyone knows. Not a hot place. That would be cool. Or I could read a Hardy Boys one. I'm not really into Hardy Boys, but I have some Hardy Boys that subscribers have sent me. So I could read one of those, maybe. I really like the ones or anything from the 80s. I could wait, I think I have do I have any of the crossover ones or the ones where it's Nancy and the Hardy Boys together in the 80s? I could read one of those maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it and maybe make a post about it where you can comment what you would like to hear. All right, I gotta go. Bye. Have a good weekend, everyone.